All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling a really important question for any business out there. What does it mean to have a real partner in global logistics, not just, a company you hire? We're going to use one company as a case study to see how it's done. So, let's find out.
I mean, seriously, think about it. If your business buys or sells anything across borders, this is the big question. Getting your product from point A to point B sounds simple, but it's not a straight line. It's this tangled web of customs, weird regulations, different carriers, and a million little things that can go wrong. It can be a massive headache.
And yeah, maze is exactly the right word for it. The global supply chain really is a maze. And one wrong turn in there, that could mean super costly delays, unexpected fees, or even worse, your goods getting lost. So the question isn't if you'll face the maze, it's how do you get through it? Well, you find a guide, right? Someone who knows the maze inside and out.
And that's where a company like Ajanta Clearing and Freight Services comes in. They aim to be that expert guide for you. Not just a company that moves boxes around, but a true logistics partner that's designed to navigate that whole complex maze for you. So let's see how they're set up to do that. Okay, so first glance, you might see the company was established in 2021 and think, oh, they're brand new. But that is definitely not the whole story. While the company itself is modern, it's built on a foundation of, get this, over 2 decades of combined experience from its leadership. So what you're really getting is the best of both worlds. You get the agility, the fresh ideas, and the modern systems of a new company, but it's all guided by that deep industry knowledge that, let's be honest, you can only get from years and years of hands-on experience. Let's meet the people behind that experience.
At the core of it all is the leadership team. You've got Saatish, who brings over 2 decades of deep, nitty-gritty logistics and freight know-how, and that's combined with Prachi Javari's decade of experience in the broader service industry. That mix tells you they're not just focused on the mechanics of moving stuff, but on the entire client experience.
So what does all that expertise actually get you? Well, it lets them offer what's called end-to-end solutions. Think of it as the complete toolkit your business needs to manage its entire shipping process from start to finish.
And let's be super clear about what end-to-end really means. It's the idea of having one single partner, one point of contact to manage absolutely everything. From the second your product is ready to leave the factory until it's sitting in your customer's hands, one partner handles every single step.
So here's how that journey actually works. It all starts with the movement itself, getting your goods on a plane or a ship. Then comes that notoriously tricky part, customs clearance. After it's cleared, they can manage warehousing and distribution, all the way through to that final last-mile delivery. It's one smooth, unified process.
But wait, there's more. The core services are just the beginning. They also handle all those crucial little extras that can totally derail a shipment, like making sure the packaging is tough enough for a long trip, or that the international labeling is absolutely perfect so you don't get held up at customs. Throw in insurance solutions, and you've got a complete safety net.
Okay, so having all the right tools is one thing, but you need the muscle to back it up, right? You need a network that can actually execute on a global scale. So now let's look at their reach and their actual track record. And here's some real proof in the pudding. Over 300 exporters already trust them and use their services. In an industry that is built entirely on trust and reliability, a number like that speaks volumes.
And that trust is built on a pretty massive network. We're talking 42 associated offices across the globe. That's the kind of footprint that gives them the power to manage really complex, multi-country shipments. It shows they're not just a local player, they are a truly connected global operator.
And if we break that network down a bit, you can see their strategy. They have this incredibly strong domestic foundation with 32 offices in India, and then they complement that with 10 key offices overseas. This structure gives their clients deep local expertise on the ground, plus all the global connections you need to operate anywhere in the world. And those overseas offices, they're not just random dots on a map. They are planted right in the world's biggest economic hubs. We're talking the United States, Europe, China, the Far East, the UAE. A presence in these places means they are plugged directly into the planet's busiest and most important trade routes.
But beyond all the infrastructure and the numbers, this really gets to their core philosophy. The global supply chain never sleeps. It runs 24/7, so if you're going to be a real partner, you have to be available around the clock too. It's a promise of shared success.
So we've seen their setup, we've seen their network, but what's next? Where are they headed? Because the company's ambition tells you a whole lot about its momentum and its commitment to staying ahead of the curve. And their vision for the future is, well,
It's seriously ambitious. They have a goal to grow from $1 million to $50 million by 2030. That's not just growth. That's explosive growth. And that's important because it means you're partnering with a company that's dynamic and actively adapting, not one that's just standing still.
So, how are they going to pull that off? Well, it all comes back to their core mission. It's not about being the cheapest option out there. It's about delivering that perfect combination of top-notch service and real, tangible value for their clients. And their playbook for making this happen is built on 3 really simple but powerful ideas. 1, be impressively responsive. 2, be clear and honest in all your dealings to build trust. And 3, this one's key, tailor everything to your client's specific needs instead of offering some generic one-size-fits-all solution.
So, when you put it all together, what's the big picture? You've got this combination of veteran leadership inside a modern company, a service model that covers every single step of the journey, and a global network to make it all happen. The whole goal is to be that single, reliable partner for what is, otherwise, a super complex and fragmented process.
Which leaves us with a final thought to chew on. In this crazy, interconnected world, that logistics maze is only getting more and more complicated. So it really makes you wonder, how much of your business's true potential is tied up not in what you make, but in how well you can move it from A to B? That's something to think about.